Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.
Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to Into the Night with me, your host Sean Kelly. How are you guys doing tonight? Yeah, I got kind of like got the beard off and got a haircut today because I was looking kind of scraggly there, and I'm telling you, I don't want to look scraggly, especially for my people. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Heidi, always a pleasure. Kevin, definitely. Always, and Cindy Mitch, boy, I'm glad people are in tonight. Yes. Oh, and Heidi, of course. I don't know. I like what she said. Heidi says looking spiffy, Sean. I thank you. Thank you. But so I want to thank you, PRN Talk Radio 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans, for allowing me to give you 2 nights a week, Sunday and on Tuesday night on this platform. Now, I don't know if anybody was around on Sunday, which I had some information for you that starting this Sunday coming up, I am going to have a 2-hour show now on Sunday nights from 8:10 to 10:10 p.m. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. I'll be able to do some of the stuff that I would love to do, like definitely do a lot of roundtables. Hello, Sammy. Good to see you, sir. Hey, Vis. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. But yeah, Sunday night I have two-hour show, so it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it, and I know we're going to have a lot of fun. Thank you, Michelle. I don't know. Don't forget CL Thomas, my dearest friend. She has her podcast on next, right after mine. I can't do 3-hour shows, Sammy. I do them on Fridays and Saturday nights. I can't do them. 3 hours are too long, dude. 2 hours is the best I can go. But let's see. Yeah, CL, the Gateway podcast tonight, right after mine, 9:15 Eastern. It starts. The Gateway podcast, and her guest tonight is Mr. Timothy Shaw, and they're going to be talking about the C2D1 haunting, and so I have heard of Mr. Timothy Shaw, and all good news about him. So whenever you're done watching my show tonight, please go over and check out CL show. 4 hours, couldn't do it, Sam. Excuse me. So I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm in a decent mood today. I feel like I just lost like 10 years of my life. Hey, Benji, good to see you. Trading Divine, LOS, Sweethearts for Chips. So my user is I Am Warrior. Thank you. And thank you for being here, Benji. But do ghosts, why do they hang around? Can anyone tell me that? Why do ghosts hang around? I was reading Kevin's response when he jumped the gun a wee bit, but he's my dear friend, so that's okay. He says, why do spirits I hang around? Sometimes they are unfinished business, sometimes they need help crossing over, which we can do with permission, with free will. We should definitely ask first. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Yeah, that's true too, Kevin. They don't know they're dead either. That's true. Thank you very much for popping in like that and talking about it. But Kevin has the right idea. You know, I've been in the business for over 30 years, and I have dealt with a lot of ghosts, a lot of spirits. And first of all, I need to say, before I even continue, that there are a ton of skeptics out there that don't believe in ghosts. Okay. And I remember back in 2006 when I formed a group, um, a lot of Cindy says to guide us and to assist us with our life, which is true. But the question is, Cindy, do we listen to them? Do we listen to the ghosts and the spirits that are supposed to um, guide us through our life? Tristan, I do not know, sir. 9 plus 10 is 19 plus 9, 30, 9, 40. There you go, 40. But but there, like I said before, there was a lot of skeptics, and back in 2006 when it really became popular, ghost hunting and working with paranormal, or it was hard to not make people understand that they exist, but to help them try to understand they exist. Okay. And I forget who I was talking to today. I was talking to a person, and okay. Oh, I was out eating lunch. And, you know, the biggest thing that ghost hunters did when they first opened up in 2005, that's TAPS. And what they did when they went on TV and did some ghost hunting, they opened up they opened up a part of people that were going through some crazy ass stuff like missing keys, you know, door shutting, pants falling off the wall, stuff like that. And but they had nobody to talk to about it. They had nobody to talk to. So when Tabs came out in 2005, I came out in 2006. Okay. And the majority of the people that I have talked to, and basically that's all I did was do private residences. And all we heard, my group and me, all we heard was this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. And we got to explain to them what was happening in their house. And whenever we got done talking to them and investigating their house, all our clients had a peace of mind. Now I can tell you stories, you know, on how they can be bad ghosts or bad spirits, whatever you want to call them. Ghosts or spirits, it don't matter. They're the same. But there were some spirits that were angry, you know, and I remember a lot of my investigations. People were, especially at the beginning, people were remodeling their houses. Okay. And usually the spirit who died in the house or who owned the house after they passed away, we're so used to the different colors of the house. Like, for example, maybe that they put a polka dotted wallpaper. Okay. So I come in and I take that wallpaper down and I tear out a wall. Oh man, that's going to really piss the ghost off. And what it does is they go crazy. They don't hurt people. They don't hurt, but they do a lot of things in the house that drives the people who are living in the house crazy. And that's where I stepped in with my group. And not just my group, all the groups, all the paranormal groups that are out there today and back then, you know. It was good to have the knowledge. Hey, Joni, good to see you. It was nice to have the knowledge that we were able to go out and work with these people and talk to these people why they did. Hey, Squats man, good to see you, sir. Thanks for popping in. So ghosts do exist. Okay. Ghost is pure energy. And what I like to tell people is you got your body here, my body. Okay. My body is just a shell. Hey, Kurt, good to see you, bud. Um, my body, the skin, the bones, everything, it's just a shell for my soul, for my spirit. So when I die, my shell dies, but my spirit within, my soul, my spirit, gets like kind of reborn again, you know? The only thing different is, okay, the only thing different is that people can't see you. Now, the ghost or the spirit, they can see you. They know what is going on, but the people who they're trying to get communicated with are, they can't see them or hear them. That's why, especially, okay, now say like Heidi says, dishes done in kitchen clear. Okay, okay, I'm not going to make no mess. No, 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 no. But think about it, right? So you got two people who've been married for over 50, 60 years. Okay. And all of this sudden, and they did everything together, everything together. They were inseparable. Michelle says, I believe loved ones stick around to watch over and also stray ghosts pay visits. True. Absolutely, there, Michelle. But when you're married for such a long time and you've done things together since you've been married, and then all of a sudden, okay, all of a sudden, the husband passes away. He dies. But the wife is there by herself. Now, the wife is in mourning. She is in shock. She doesn't know what to do. She's nervous. She's scared. And she never ever been separated from her husband for that many years. And now he has passed and she's all alone. Now, to her husband, who is a spirit now, who has passed, okay, is looking down on her, is looking down on her, and he sees all the stuff that she's going through right now. The loneliness, the crying, the sadness, everything. Let me ask you this, everybody. If you knew your partner was in that situation, would you leave her and go to the light? Or would you leave him and go to the light? Kevin says, I guess asking the ghosts of the house to respect boundaries. Yep, true. A lot of people didn't do that back then, Kevin. You know what I mean? Honestly, they didn't. Um, because people really didn't understand ghosts. They didn't even know such a thing as they were ghosts. So if they knew what was happening, maybe they could have done that. Maybe they could have made a deal with the ghost of the house. And I've done many of those. And believe it or not, Kev, it works. I will get later on in the show about that. But would you leave your husband in that situation? If you were the wife and your husband was hurting really bad, would you leave him? Would you leave him? Or would you want to stick around and try to comfort him so maybe you can move on? I need to ask that question, guys. What would you do? If you had to, if you had the opportunity to go to the light after you passed, but you see your loved one that's hurting, what would you do? Now, see, a lot of people don't seem to understand that when you die, you still have freedom of choice. You still have freedom of choice when you die. Even though you're a spirit, even though you're energy, you still have that freedom. Michelle said that she would stick around. Joni says stay. Heidi says, depends on my soul contract. If I'm passed, I would. Okay. Of course we would. Kevin said he'd stay too. And you would stay as long as you can until they finally feel like that their significant other, the husband, is okay with her being passed. And then it, the woman, the wife could, go into the light. That's a biggie. But what's crazy though, and I've had two husband and wife people in my family where the wife died, and like the next day, and this is true, everybody, the next day, the husband died. They were my cousins. You definitely need a choice. You do have that choice when you pass. So that is like the main reason why a lot of the spirits hang around. Now, if it was up to me, I'd stay. I would definitely stay. That's really hard to. This is Kurt. It's really hard to say what I would do until I was put into that situation. I would try to do best thing, but being selfish is also a big part people would most likely play as well. That's hard. Of course it is. But you also got to remember too, Kurt, that the relationship, yeah, I can understand that, Heidi, that you would want to continue your journey. But see, to me, the way I look at that is that it is infinite time. You got infinite time to walk your journey. That's the way I look at it. So why not be um, there for your significant other? Okay. Now, I have done a lot of investigations where babies are involved. Okay, people, they have little babies in the crib. And all of a sudden on the monitors, they see their baby going, hi, hi, and smiling. But there's nothing in the room. And usually 99.9% of the time, it's a relative or a great grandma or grandma that is watching over them. And I remember a lot of times I would go to houses because, people are crazy because their baby was seeing things. And, I had to get personal with some of them. And I asked questions, and you know how I am, right? You know how I am. I come out and say what I want to say. Um, I'd look at them and I'd say, so tell me, are you guys fighting? Is there bickering in your marriage right now with the little baby? And usually they say yes. Well, I said, well, that's the answer why the baby is seeing things. And they look at me like, huh, why? I said, because you're not paying attention to your kid. You're busy fighting each other and you're ignoring your kid, the little baby in your crib. And so there's a grandma or a great grandma or grandpa that are watching over the baby. Well, you two bicker and fight. And then they don't have nothing else to say. You know, they don't know what to say. But it's true. Whenever hey Mish, good to see you. But whenever you see a baby just like being happy when nobody in there, I definitely one of the grandparents. Meant to be your seeking, no matter what your souls will end up needing, so one lifetime wouldn't matter. True, Kurt, true. And then you got like Gettysburg, okay? With Gettysburg, there's a lot of ghosts up there, but there's a lot of residual energy up there, residual ghosts, okay? And residual energy, in some cases, that is seen is not a conscious spirit, but a recording. And with a residual, I remember I was at the Jenny Wade house, and I encountered a residual haunting. I mean, this ghost was coming right at me. I saw the ghost, but the ghost didn't see me. It just walked right through me. Yes, walked right through me. And it repeated itself and repeated. And that's what you call residual energy. And I've seen it in Gettysburg. I've seen it up in a little church called Leechburg. And one day I'm going to have a show on that. But yes, so, and how residual energy happens, especially up in Gettysburg. So I'm fighting my enemy, and I see a soldier there from the Confederacy, and I'm pointing my gun right at him, and he knows he's going to die. Okay, he knows he's going to die. Every emotion in that Confederate soldier body became one solid ball of energy. And so when the soldier was shot and died, that energy stayed there. It did not have the opportunity to move on. Did I? No, lawnmower shot. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I had to look good for everybody tonight. Thank you, Mish. So, and then how the dude died. Uh, um, so when the dude died, the Confederate soldier, he's just stuck right where he was shot at. And a lot of times they were young and they were killed so fast that they did not even realize they were dead. And that's the truth. So, yes, spirits do exist. But the biggest one, though, I think is like really cool. If you go to an antique store, okay, you go to an antique store, you can find all the ghosts you want because they are usually attached to objects. This is the example I give. So there's a salt and pepper shaker on the table. You go over and you buy that salt and pepper shaker. And you take it home with you. Not only did you take it home with you, that salt and pepper shaker home with you, but you also took the spirit that's attached to the salt and pepper shaker. So when you bring home the salt and pepper shaker, all hell breaks loose. And you're like, whoa, what the hell happened? So yes, again, spirits do exist. Joni says, yes, looking good, Sean. You'll be fighting women off in no time. Thank you. I appreciate that. But no, it was getting out of hand. I had to shave my beard. Yeah. But in reality, my final conclusion is yes, that's why they hang around. That's why spirits hang around. Because from what I have learned and what I have saw, once you die, okay, the light opens up. You know how everybody says you got to walk toward the light? Well, the light opens up. And at that very moment, you have the opportunity to walk through that light to go to heaven. But the majority of people don't go, and it closes up. And one final thing before we go on our break. I don't know about you people out there, but when I was raised Catholic, and I was always taught if I committed a sin, that I was going to hell. Okay. So the people who died, who were raised like that, okay, who were raised like that, when they die and they see that light and they feel like, okay, I sinned, so when I get to that light, I'm going to hell. So a lot of people stay earthbound. Let's see. Real quick before I go on break, Carr says, from my knowledge, the core soul does not get caught on the earth, but detaches itself at death. That's right. At this earthbound body prepares for another life, the soul fractals, residual energy get caught there. Mitch says, I remember seeing the deadfalls in the house had a massive growth or something. Remind me of what you said about the spirits combining. Carr says it's dangerous for residual energy to get stuck because it's at risk of being caught by an entity and is fed upon. I did not know that. But thank you very much, Carrie, for telling me that. But it is time to go for a break. Okay, we're at the 30-minute mark. I'll be back in a couple minutes. And like I promised you, I am going to do an animal medicine card reading for everybody. So please hang around. In 2 minutes, I'll be back. And we'll get this reading on. Okay?
The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's start this conversation. Let's start this conversation. We got no relation. I have come, it's cold and losing my
Hey, welcome back, everybody, and to the second part of the show of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. So, in the first half, we talked to why do ghosts hang around, and there was all kinds of reasons why they do. So, if you missed the first half of the show, please go to my Facebook page and check out or the Pittsburgh Paranormal YouTube page, and you can check out the first half of the show on that. So, Kevin pulled a card for me, and he said, I did one for you, Sean, and I truly appreciate that, Kevin. Truly appreciate that. Did you see you got the animal spirit card, the dragonfly? He asked, can we explore what that card means? But of course, sir, we sure can. Before I get the reading, of course we can. Thank you, Heidi. All right, let me go look it up. Let's see what the dragonfly has to say. But yeah, Joe Fox ain't in, so he'll get yelled at. Oh gosh, where you at? Where you at? Not mine. Okay, dragonfly 140. Heidi, what's the number 145 mean? Could you look that up, please? That's okay. Number 145. That is the page of the dragonfly. Can you check that out, please? I appreciate it. Okay. Let me see. We're getting there. It won't come open. Okay. The dragonfly, in essence, is the winds of change, the messages of wisdom and enlightenment, and the communications from the elemental world. The elemental world is made up of the tiny spirits and plants of the elements air, earth, fire, and water. Ain't that the truth? What do I talk about all the time? Fairies, gnomes, leprechauns, trees, rocks. That's a good pull, buddy. They do say that the dragonfly was once a dragon, and that dragon had scales like dragonfly wings. The dragon was full of wisdom and flew through the night, bringing light with its fiery breath. The breath of the dragon brought forth the art of magic and illusion of changing form. Heidi said, often interpret as a message that your thoughts are manifesting positive changes. It serves as an encouragement to maintain a positive mindset and trust the guidance of angels to achieve success. Thank you, Heidi, very much for writing that. That is so true. So you, Sean, agree? Of course I do. And Kurt says, great card for Sean. Says, if Dragonfly has flown into your cards today, you may have forgotten to water your plants on another level. You may need to give thanks to the foods you eat for sustaining your body. On the psychological level, it may be time to break down the illusions you have held that restrict your actions or ideas. Dragonfly medicine always beckons you to seek out the parts of your habits which you need to change. Have you put on too much weight? No, I actually lost. Or yeah, or did you start looking like a scarecrow? That's funny. Hey, Gary, good to see you, buddy. Good evening. The light shining on your head makes it look like a yarmulke. Thank you, sir. I got the ball. That's cute. Have you tended to the changes you have wanted to make in life? So thank you very much on that. Thank you very much, Kevin. I truly appreciate it. So yeah, that is a good card that was pulled for me. The card. Good card indeed. Thank you very much, Kevin. And Heidi, thank you for looking up the number 145. I truly appreciate it. Yeah, yarmulke. Yeah, there you go. See, that's okay. But that's cool. I never heard of that. So I'm going to give a reading right now. Okay. I'm going to go as far as I can with this. And when I pull the card and I look at the animal, you know, I'm not going to go by the definition. I'm going to go by what I feel, what the card that I have pulled for everybody. So this is for everybody. And if this card might not be for you. This reading might not be for you. But, just if you want to, write the animals down that I pull, and you can look them up. Just Google, like Deer Medicine Card or spirituality. Thank you, Kevin. And write it down and come with your own conclusion. So I just shuffled, and I just cut the cards, and here we go. Remember, I'm not going to look these definitions up. I'm just going to feel from the card that I read from. So the first card I pull up is the coyote. Okay. Now the coyote is considered the trickster. Okay. And with you having this as a medicine card, the coyote right now in your life, what's going to happen is that you're trying to get ahead of your life by not putting the work that you need to do to get there. What I'm feeling is that you're trying to, trick people or trick yourself into doing things that will get you to the spot where you want to be, but you haven't worked for it yet. You have not worked for it yet. So the coyote is where you're at right now. You're trying to be tricky. You're trying to pull the wool over somebody. Next card I'm pulling is the butterfly. Okay, now this is starting to form the reading, right? So the butterfly comes in 4 stages: the eggs, the larvae, the cocoon, or is it the cocoon, the larvae, and the butterfly? And with the butterfly, there's 4 stages to this. So as you're being the coyote trying to trick your way into, let's just say you want a job. So, okay, you're the coyote and you're trying to trick yourself into getting this job, right? Then pops up the butterfly, okay? Now with that butterfly, you have to go four stages. And you start off and I forget what it was called. A pulpy or whatever you want to call it. But it takes time for that butterfly to develop. Okay. So no matter how hard you try to be sneaky to get this job, the butterfly just came in and said, no, Mr. Coyote, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And then the dolphin. I love the way this is going. Okay, the dolphin is considered manna, and manna means air. Okay, and dolphins can swim like hell, man, and go long distances. So instead of you trying to take the shortcut at getting this job, you got the butterfly that is like saying, no way, Mr. Coyote, no way. Okay, you have to go through this process in order to get the job. And then the dolphin comes in, no, not yet. Sure, you became a full butterfly. But the dolphin kicks in and says, you got some time. You seriously need to start swimming long distance to get to that job that you want. It's pretty neat how these cards just interconnect with each other when the reading is. Kevin says, what a power tree. Yeah, balance. So you get to the job, and what do you, oh, wow, this is great. You get the squirrel. The squirrel's the gatherer. The squirrel collects nuts for the winter. And he's just collecting all the knowledge. You're collecting all that knowledge for what you need to do when you get that job. Okay? So even though it took you a little bit longer tricking to get yourself to that job, where the butterfly kicks in, smacks your ass and says, sit down, Mr. Coyote. You have to do the 4 stages. And then the dolphin comes in and says, no, not yet. You got to start breathing. You got to move. You got to, go a long distance. before you get, so you're nowhere near when the dolphin appears because is just taking you long distance. So you're getting frustrated because you're not at that job yet. So with the squirrel, okay, you're collecting. What do I do? I need this information here. Or how can I trick other people to get in it? It's taking too long for this to get there. And that's why the squirrel popped in. So what the squirrel is actually doing is collecting information for you and how to do it properly to get that job. Okay. And last but not least, the wolf. That's your end game right there, the wolf. And the wolf family. The wolf is takes care of other wolves. They take care of their babies. They take care of family members. And that's what the wolf, it teaches too. The wolf teaches. It teaches you how to take care of your family. The wolf teaches you how to hunt. The wolf brings the whole pack together. That's your job. Yes, definitely ties it all together. It does. So maybe as the scenario, what I was saying was, maybe it wasn't a job. Maybe it was trying to be part of a family, trying to get back into the good graces of the family. And like you tried, I'll say it again, the coyote, you're being the coyote, you're trying to tricking yourself, going different ways. Try to get to that family, but nothing seems to work. And again, the butterfly kicks in and says, no, 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 Mr. Coyote, sit your ass right there. You ain't going nowhere. You have to go through stages. And even though you go through the stages, the dolphin kicks in and says, no, 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 you're not ready yet. You have to learn how to breathe. You know what I mean? You have to learn how to breathe. And you have to go far before your family actually accepts you back. Then the squirrel kicks in and he says, you know what? Before I get to that family, back to my family again, I need to pull information, how to act, what I need to know, what were my wrongdoings, you know, and that's what the squirrel came in for, to help you get the information you need in order to come back to the wolf, to go to the wolf, your family. And store nuts too. But Kevin says, right, yes, trust in your team, your circle, your guides. Definitely, there's a lot of good power cards there. But that is my reading for you tonight. You know, and if the reading was meant for you, I hope you got something out of it. And it's just amazing to me that when I give you a reading like this, how all the cards just come through, you know. And it was a good reading for me too. But I truly appreciate you, Kevin, for pulling that dragonfly. That was really nice. You said, Kevin, trust in your team, your circle, your guides. You're my team. You're my pack. Everyone in here. And even at the 160 different countries that are listening to my show now. You know, so I hope everyone enjoyed the reading. You're welcome, Heidi. I'm glad that you love the card pull. It keeps it interesting. And I'm going to be honest with you, Heidi, and everybody else out there. I look forward to the card pulls too, because it's like during the week I get excited. I get excited knowing that when my show comes up, I'll pull a card and see where we're at. And Kevin said, exactly, Sean, we are a team here. Indeed, we are. Michelle did. You loved the reading. Thank you, Kevin. But, a lot of card reading, there is, a definition for every animal. But the way I read is whenever I pull a card, it's what I see. It's what I feel from the card that I pulled. So, and if it didn't happen for you, write the animals down again, and then Google it yourself, and see if anything like that happens. Good, that's good for you. But we are getting close to the end of the show. You'll go with intuition too, Sean. True. Thank you. Heidi says, I have a little book of gratitudes in an Oracle magic book. I get drawn to turn to a page. Yes. It's funny. I'm up here in my office up in the attic, and before a show or whenever I'm setting up a show, my deck is right here. I'll shuffle and I'll pull a card and see what animal comes up. And usually it's the one that I need to know. You know what I mean? But this will be it. I got to close because CL shows be coming on pretty soon. Okay. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I hope everybody understands that spirits do hang around and why they're hanging around. I just feel really good. That was a good reading. It was a good show. What time? I got about a minute left. Children, if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you have no parents, and if you have no children, find someone, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a long way. And on that note, I will see you next Sunday night for my beginning of my 2-hour show on Sundays. Don't forget, I will still have a show on Tuesday. So, that's only an hour, but my Sunday night show for the 2-hour show is coming up this Sunday. And please remember, okay, please protect the children. And I got a dad joke for you before we go. Why did the rooster cross the road? To get to the other side. And why did the hen start quacking at him? Because he was checking out the female and she wanted her to go back over to her. It's funny. What a stupid joke. But thank you, everybody. And I will see you Sunday night. God bless.